This is your one and only 𝐕🐺₀81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome back to another informational Valheim video. Today we're going to talk about some foods you should avoid. Let's get to it. So before we get into the video, I just want to give a quick clarification here. So I'm not saying never craft these foods. In some circumstances you may have to. For example, if you want the most amount of stamina possible or the most amount of health possible, because you can't stack the same foods, so you would have to do one of these in order to get that. I'm just saying that these foods are horribly inefficient and should be avoided in most cases. And in most cases, you shouldn't necessarily need them because there's other options. And yeah, so I'm not saying don't ever craft them. If you have an abundance of resources, by all means, have at it. But if you're trying to play efficiently or be efficient, then you should probably avoid these foods. All right, so right off the bat, we're going to start with the absolute most, just the worst food. Just don't even craft this. I know I had a disclaimer at the beginning, but just don't even craft it. It's terrible. It's stupid. It's completely imbalanced, and it's just crap food, and that's deer stew. So if you take a look here at the stats, you get 40 health, 13 stamina, it lasts 20 minutes, gives you 2 HP per tick. Okay, that's going to cost you 1 cooked deer meat, 1 blueberries, and 1 carrot. Let's take a look at what happens if you just eat cooked deer meat. With just cooked deer meat, you get 35 health, 12 stamina, 20-minute duration, and 2 HP per tick. So you're getting 5 extra health and 1 extra stamina for 2 additional resources, one of which you have to forage for and would be better spent in other places. Yeah, you're just better off just eating the cooked deer meat. Just cook the deer meat, eat the cooked deer meat, avoid the deer stew. On top of that, you would be better off using your carrots for the minced meat sauce. So for the minced meat sauce, you're going to need 1 boar meat, 1 necktail, and 1 carrot. That's going to get you 45 health and 15 stamina. It's going to last 25 minutes, and it's going to give you an additional HP per tick. If you want really good stats and you're rather early game, you could make the minced meat stew, or the minced meat sauce, and eat a deer meat, and you would only be down 5 health and 1 stamina if you did that. 5 health and 1 stamina is not going to make that much difference. And then that leaves you your last slot to fill with a stamina food. All right, let's talk about blood pudding, because they absolutely ruined blood pudding with this update. Blood pudding used to actually be really good. So you can see now that it's going to give you 23 health and 70 stamina for 25 minutes with 1 HP per tick. It's going to cost you 2 thistle, 2 blood bag, and 4 flour. Now, let's take a look at some other options that you can get out of these resources and how they compare. So if you take one of those thistles and you use that to make sausages instead, you are getting 4 sausages for 1 thistle. Now, you're not just paying the 1 thistle. Obviously, you are also going to be spending the entrails and the boar meat, but those are easily farmable. If you find a Draugr spawner, you can farm entrails all day long, and boar are farmable back at your base. So that means all you need to do is go out and collect thistles, and you can get 4 times the amount of food per thistle spent than you can with the blood pudding. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, but Firespark, that's swapping from a stamina food to a health-based food. Yes, I know, but let's take a look at the barley flour. So you're going to spend 4 barley flour for 1 blood pudding. Or you could spend 10 barley flour and get 2 bread. Let's take a look at the difference in stats there. So this is going to get you 70 stamina. This is going to get you 75 stamina. The blood pudding is going to get you 23 health. The bread is going to get you 25 health. The blood pudding is going to last 25 minutes. The bread is going to last 30 minutes. Now, they're both 1 HP per tick, so that really doesn't matter, but you're better off just spending that flour that you would have spent on the blood pudding on bread instead. Bread's just a better option. For your blood bags, they're much more efficiently spent making the black soup. The black soup is pretty efficient for the resources that it takes. It takes 1 blood bag, 1 honey, and 1 turnip. It's a great way to spend honey and turnips if you have a bunch of blood bags. It's a really good food. Now, once again, this is swapping over to a health food from a stamina food, but it's a really good food to spend those blood bags on. Where the blood pudding takes 2 blood bags, the black soup only takes 1. And on top of that, it's a lot less resources altogether. So this takes a total of 8 resources just to make 1 blood pudding. The black soup takes 3 resources to make 1 black soup. It's a way better use of your resources, and it's going to give you a nice chunk of health at 50 health, 17 stamina. It's going to last 20 minutes, and it's going to give you 3 HP per tick. So instead of making the blood pudding, use those resources, split them up, use your thistles for your sausage, use your blood bags for your blood pudding, and use your flour for your bread. Moving right along to another food that was absolutely ruined with the Hearth and Home update, and that is turnip stew. Now, turnip stew is infinitely renewable. You can farm the turnips and you can farm the boars. However, it's become really inefficient compared to other options that you have. It is a stamina food, and the resources that you use on it are better used converted to a health food, well, 2 different health foods. So that's one downside to not using the resources to make the turnip soup. However, the turnip soup is really inefficient compared to what it used to be, because it used to be a situation where you could get 2-star wolves and then you could kill the wolves and use some of the meat that you got from those wolves in order to feed the wolves to make more meat. Now it's a situation where you have to feed the boar something that you're already planting. So, for example, if you only wanted to plant turnips, you are going to need to plant additional turnips in order to fuel your boar farm on top of the 3 turnips that you need per stew that you make. If we use those 3 turnips to make black soup instead, we're going to get a total of 60 minutes worth of 50 health. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, wait a minute, what do you mean 60 minutes? That's 20 minutes per each of the turnips you would have spent to make the turnip stew. Now, for the boar meat, instead of using that for the turnip stew, it's way better used with the sausages. 1 boar meat turns into 4 sausages. Now, I know you're like, well, what about the entrails and the thistle? Yes, you still got to go out and kill the draugr for the entrails, but once again, once you find a draugr spawner, you can farm those really easily. And it's only 1 thistle now. It used to be more than that. Now they changed the recipe, so it's only 1 thistle. It's a super efficient food. This is an absolutely fantastic food because it gives you 55 health, 18 stamina, it lasts 25 minutes, and it gives you 3 HP per tick. Per boar meat, you're getting 4 food as opposed to 1 boar meat only getting you 1 food. Now, granted, once again, you're adding a bunch of other resources there. I understand that. You got to have the honey, you got to have the blood bag, you got to have the entrails and the thistle. But the point is that boar meat and that turnip are more efficiently used in these recipes than they are in this recipe here, especially when it comes to the sausages. Because with the sausages, you're spending 6 resources for 4 food. With the turnip stew, you're spending 4 resources for 1 food. Moving on, we have the Muck Shake. So the Muck Shake is going to get you 16 health, 50 stamina. It's going to last 20 minutes. It's going to give you 1 HP per tick. It's going to cost you 1 ooze, 2 raspberries, and 2 blueberries. You are way better off using these berries in the Queen's Jam recipe. So the Queen's Jam is going to get you 14 health, 40 stamina. So you're sacrificing 10 stamina and 2 health, but you're gaining 1 HP per tick. Other than that, they're the same duration. So you got a little bit of sacrifice in 10 stamina. You're not going to notice 10 stamina it's 10 stamina is not going to, you're not even going to notice it. It's 10 stamina. You burn through stamina so quick, 10 stamina ain't going to make a difference, and you're definitely not going to notice the 2 HP difference. And the reason that you're better off using the berries for the Queen's Jam is when you craft a Queen's Jam, you get 4, as opposed to when you craft a Muck Shake, you only get 1. Now, I realize that it takes 6 blueberries and it takes 8 raspberries, but it's still more efficient. So even if you were to, let's say you crafted 3 of these so that you used 6 blueberries and it got you 3 Muck Shakes, that's only going to give you 60 minutes of 50 stamina. Queen's Jam costs you the same 6 blueberries and gives you a total of 80 minutes worth of stamina. So what if you crafted 4 of the Muck Shakes instead? Well, if that's the case, then you're going to end up using more blueberries. Yes, you would equal the same amount of raspberries at that point, but you're going to end up using 2 additional blueberries. Also, if you craft 4 of these to equal the 8 raspberries that you would spend on the Queen's Jam, you are also going to use up 4 ooze on top of that. So not only are you going to use 2 extra blueberries, you're also going to have to use 4 ooze, which is 6 extra resources compared to what you would use down here in order to craft 4 Queen's Jam. All right, well, hopefully you all found this video helpful and informational. If you did, consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. And I don't just cover Valheim, I cover all kinds of different games, so you never know when I'm going to be making guides for and or playing a game that you may be playing. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. I want to give an absolutely massive shout out and thank you to my supporters on Patreon for making this episode possible. Y'all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to join my elite crew of Patreon supporters, please check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and show your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.